the podcast that finishes your workday in a very Red Raider way. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
It is Tech Talk here on Double T 97.3. We're technically back in red, not so much back in black. Jeff's wearing black. It's got some red trim, but that fits. AC/DC, clearly, what we've been rocking with.
Yeah.
I'm trying to guess. Is there a, should we be guessing a reason?
I mean, the reason is I'm still at work on a Friday.
Oh.
So we're gonna jam out, and
I'm good with it.
Heck yeah,
I'm good with it. I didn't know if there was like a trick question or something like that.
Well, you guys did songs with F yesterday, so this covers two more letters: A, C, and D.
Nice. A, C, and D.
Well, I was like, okay, so AC/DC. I don't think any of their members are from Kansas City or Philadelphia originally.
Super Bowl themed music.
Yeah. Did Kendrick Lamar sample any of their?
Yeah, probably not. Hey,
hands in.
There was a little news nugget that involved a Red Raider baseball player today.
Yes, sir.
An Estacado Matador. AJ Ramos is going to do some. There's a rotation of several analysts that will be doing Florida Marlins TV. Actually, that's radio. Let's see. Maybe that's radio, but regardless. He is, and AJ Ramos is among those analysts. So
Sweet.
He's been doing some XM radio, this MLB analyst stuff, kind of their baseball talk stuff. I don't know if he's got a schedule or if he's just on there every once in a while, but good to see him getting in the mix there in Florida. That's cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Was that last time when he was here? I guess 18 months ago or so, when the new facility was opened out in left field in the corner and all the letter winners came back. I believe he was living in Southern California at that point, but I could be wrong. And that's a good dude. He's made a lot of folks proud around here. Certainly the Estacado community, as well as the Red Raider Nation, I hope.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, so happy.
That's very cool. Good
happy for him. And their big announcement was, it is actually their radio network. It looks like the Marlins, but that they've had some shift around. They brought in a guy and this and that and da da da. And then part of it was the rotation of analysts will involve and AJ Ramos. So. Happy for AJ. Get to hear him on some Marlins broadcasts.
Who was da-da-da-da-da?
I know. Do you really want to know? Are you really excited about Rod Allen
there's a
and
Chuck Hines song lyric?
Jeff Nelson and Gabby Sanchez and Kelly Sacco? Is that what you really?
I feel better now that I know.
You wanted all those names?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
I was trying not to do anything to deter any attention away from AJ. And the other thing,
I didn't mean to deter.
Fresh off of the Tech Talk News Network here. TNA tomorrow. Coach Ash and David Thetford. We were just talking about Super Bowl ads. 10 a.m. Mac Owen will be in this here studio. Mac, of course, with the Owen Group Advertising. Every year they do this, and they'll talk ads and what the cost of an ad is and just, all the things that go into Super Bowl ads. And I think most time he's on 2 year. I think he'll be on this week and next week, I think. I don't want to speak for him. And then I'll be in here at 11 tomorrow. So
perfect.
You should, if you only have 1 hour though, tune in at 10. You'll want to hear Mac Owen talk about Super Bowl ads because he'll probably be able to, more so than maybe ever in the past, he'll probably be able to preview some things. Like you said, we're already getting some trailers,
which is just interesting.
Yeah, it really is.
Jeff wants a 30 here. Are you in for David or are you in for Gary?
I'm in for neither. I'm like number 3. Mac's number 3, and then I'm number 3.
Oh, okay.
It's a three-headed monster.
Because here's the thing. If it was Gus and Gary, we're getting baseball stories for an hour.
I know.
That's the kind of show that you show up, with popcorn and sodas, and you lie on the floor with your hands on your cheeks. Then you just sit there and go, I like baseball stories.
Kicking your feet like
Yes.
you're about to write in your diary.
Exactly.
One time when
Dear diary.
I filled in with him for a couple of weeks. It was probably during baseball playoffs one year that one of the teams went on a run and David was out for 2 or 3 weeks. And Coach Ash will get stuff programmed when he's by himself. Like he'll want to account for all the segments. And this one time I was like, you know what? Leave 1 hour and I'll make sure we've got it filled. Mm-hmm. And basically I was getting him talking and telling stories. And if there was ever a day that speaks to what you're talking about, we did an hour, maybe more, hour and a half of that, where I just asked him and got him thinking about stories, and then he would say something and I would do it. And I remember my mom even going, that was one of the best shows I've ever heard, because we just sat there. We would run out of time every segment, but he was telling.
So we need to what you're saying is we need to turn it into tag TANG, right?
Well, I don't know about that, but it was good in May. We're talking a lot of baseball, and I get him telling pro baseball stories and mention some names and who he played against, and because he'll go both directions. He's got some compete and some vinegar in him, and so he's got those stories about competing and getting after it. But then he's also got the stories about that guy had struck me out 3 times in a row, and so I tried to bunt my 4th at bat with 2 strikes. He'll he can kind of laugh at himself and just all of it. And so it's highly entertaining. But I don't know that it'll go to that full direction. I think the intent is that we're going to do some Texas Tech baseball preview,
which we're actually going to do a little bit of that today here too. So you'll get a warm up. Whatever you get wrong today or mess up today, you'll get right tomorrow. Although I don't think you've yet to step into that territory. This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. You can hit us up there as well. Here you go. I like Kendrick and the Grammys, so I canceled the other guy off. Perfect. I like this. I had the strangest dream last night about our game in Tucson.
Ooh.
Actually, I don't like part of this. All of our backups were in, and it was a close game with us winning. I saw the start and the ending of the text.
Good.
I will take the with us winning, however it looks in Tucson, because you have done an incredible job this year in Big 12 play, obviously on the run that you're on right now, of just transforming yourself and taking big strides in some categories of the game that you needed to improve on. It felt like you did it a lot faster than what usually you say, hey, if you're struggling with this phase on defense, usually you kind of struggle with it all year. I mean, look at last year when we kept on saying, you were struggling with rebounding and keeping teams off the glass. You got a little bit better, but it was always a recurring issue. But it doesn't feel like that at all. On top of that, you've yet to lose a road game. And now you're putting that up against Tucson. I mean, we all sat here and thought it was going to happen against Houston. You find a way to win that game, play with the ultimate chip on your shoulder. Of course, that chip was put on your shoulder by an awful call, but control what you could control, right? And you respond well. Well, now you've got another monster one tomorrow, which you can hear on Double T 97.3 starting at 8:30 in Tucson against an Arizona squad that is red hot as well.
Yeah, that's it's. If you'd have told me we were going to get this far without a road loss, I would have said yes, thumbs up. I'm curious. I mean, not that there's some magic formula to beating us, but there's things that we do that probably make the other teams' lives difficult. Mm-hmm. Most recently, though, it's play pretty good defense, and I think you and I ran through the 4 or 5 most recent games and a lot of scores in the 50s and 60s for the other team. I'll take my chances with that every night.
If I said, because this has been even a little bit higher than what you've been averaging, if I told you held Arizona to 70 or under in their home place, would you take it right now?
I probably would.
I think I would too.
I think just in very general terms. And there may be a point at which we can be pushed around and bullied physically with just a big team, but these guys have been fun to watch. It's a fun season to follow.
We will take a look at Back in Time when we come back on Double T 97.3.
The podcast that finishes your workday in a very Red Raider way. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Solving life's mysteries one at a time.
When I go to the restroom after having a few pops, and my acid washed overalls. When I go into that restroom after about 10 beers, urinal to the floor, I'm going pants down to the ankles.
Hey there, Mr. Wiener. What do you know? Do you need to tinkle? Yes, I do think so.
This is Tech Talk on Double T 97.3.
It is hour number 2 of Tech Talk here at Friday edition on Double T 97.3, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and the Double T 97.3 mobile app, brought to you by our friends at Happy State Bank. Keep hitting us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We'll go there in just a moment and play catch-up in just a little bit. You can also call us on the Visual Edge IT hotline, 806-771-0973. If you are having some trouble with your Super Bowl food menu, Jeff McGuire, if you call that number, will tell you exactly what you should bring. Good at the last-minute stuff.
Okay, last minute, 2 things. There's no such thing as enough ice at a Super Bowl party. Number 2, there's no such thing as enough soda at a Super Bowl party.
That's true. Yeah.
There's going to be beer there. There's beer from the host. There's food from the host. Ice and soda. Same argument for if you're going to a funeral reception afterwards. Ice and soda. Everybody brings food. Nobody brings drinks.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Do you also count on somebody else to bring the cups? Or do you bring the cups too?
Cans.
Nice.
Don't need a cup.
Can of what? Can of soda.
Yep.
Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite,
Royal
Dr.
Crown.
Pepper. Walk away.
We had Royal Crown the other day in here.
We had some more
You?
keeping it alive, man. Someone's got to do it.
We are.
I'm pretty sure
And
it's
moon
us
pies.
and Don
For your
Williams.
birthday, we had moon pies and RC Cola.
Yeah. Blast from the past. Yeah. And making it happen in the current. We are live from the First United Bank studio. Gus, we got this on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Ribs, brisket, and a shrimp boil for this year's Super Bowl meal. Let's go, Chiefs.
Yeah, what time do we?
Yeah, send us the address, and we'll
what
be
time do
over
you want
there.
us there? Yeah.
Oh, man, that's 2 of my,
Let me know.
3 of my favorite things. Oh, man. Bullfighter asked who's bringing the bug shots tonight, Gus, you or me? Bobby Hot Dog said, I'd rather watch Choice do 3 hours worth of dad jokes than watch the Grammys. Oof.
Okay.
Ouch. This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Game/commercial. Don't even pay attention to the halftime show, no matter who it is. Time for snacks and a refill at halftime. Wish it wasn't so long.
Yeah, it's a long halftime, and that I don't. I've got a buddy that photographed it. He probably photoed in the early '90s, probably all 3 of the Cowboys Super Bowls. Because at the time he was doing just photography in the DFW market, since just doing freelance stuff, and so there's less of that sort of thing. But he talked about like shooting that game, just the volume of commercials and longer halftime and all those things.
How do you think the players feel about that?
Yeah,
because if I was a player, I would be very annoyed that you're in the biggest game of the season, biggest game of your career, most likely, unless you just have like some historic career like one Chiefs quarterback is having. But still, and be like, hey, in the most important game, you're going to do things a lot different, like routine-wise and adjustment-wise, planning, whatever. Like, it's going to be different timing-wise.
This year, I've really enjoyed watching the I can't think of the name of the song. It's NFL something, NFL preview, NFL whatever. But this year, it's Ocho Cinco, Chris Long, Bill Belichick, and the former Steelers DB, who's doing a bunch of good work now. Anyway, and then on that show, they talked to the show this week.
Head and Shoulders guy?
Who?
The Head and Shoulders guy?
No. He played with him. He played with Polamalu.
That's killing me.
He's
Ryan Smith.
Played at LSU.
Is it Ryan Smith?
No.
Peter,
Anyway.
Paul, and Mary.
Yes, that's it. It's right there.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
They asked Belichick what it takes. How do you prepare a team, all of those things. And one of the things he talked about was when we did our Super Bowl prep, and I don't remember if this is week 1 or week 2 on site, and I don't know. May not be important. But
Ryan Clark.
there you go, right there. Boom.
Ryan Smith.
He said he said we would have a practice and then have a 34-minute break. Like go in and do the 34. I don't know if he'd do it every day, did it once or twice, but just so that those dudes could wrap their brains around the magnitude of sitting around that, and then what it'll take to that's a lot of sitting around. You'll see college teams come out and do a little stretch line and some some active
high knees, everybody.
Absolutely, that'll go through those lines and stuff. But that's a 34-minute deal.
Yeah,
and so it's way different. The magnitude of it is way different than anything they'll experience at any other point in the season. And so, Belichick said we did it. We did it for a practice or two. Just shut her down. Between periods 4 and 5, we're going to go inside and sit for 34 minutes.
Yeah.
And, dudes can kind of establish their habits. If this is, hey, I'm going to take some pads off or I'm going to, whatever.
Eat an orange slice.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably it was probably important for everyone to wrap their brain around
Maybe
that
knock
process.
down a couple Uncrustables.
Because he said one of the challenges is just the nervous energy and all the things that go with this game that are hard to combat and deal with if you haven't played it before. Obviously, the Chiefs have played in it before, and obviously a lot of the Eagles have played in it. And so this may be less of a departure than a Cinderella team that makes this run and a coach who's never been there and that sort of thing. I don't think we have that.
Let me ask you this. If the Chiefs win, if the Chiefs three-peat, if you were going to you, Mahomes' most impressive Super Bowl victories, and you can even go to the one-off in his first one, would this be the most impressive with everything that is on the line, or is there one that stands out more to you? And that's putting obviously the cart before the horse, but that's the if game. Obviously, there's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, I mean, if for some reason the game got away and they coasted to the victory and he's checking out and get the victory applause in the early fourth quarter, it would probably be the magnitude of the accomplishment is very special, but that given game, maybe not. But
I just think this Eagles defense is legit. And you have to be to make the Super Bowl. The Chiefs is too, but
one of the things that concerns me about the game is I'll make this quick. Remember the one drive coming out of the second half, coming out of half, the Bills ran it probably 8 of the 9 plays for a touchdown. And I thought, man, they just showed us the playbook. And the announcers were like, you got to get back to the run, I'm thinking, the Eagles live by the run. They're really good at the run. Like, that concerned me that the Bills were able to push the Chiefs around. What would the Eagles do?
Run, Eagles, run. That's what they say, right? It's Tech Talk and Double T 973.
The podcast put together with Red Raider fans in mind. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It is Tech Talk here on Double T 97.3, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and the Double T 97.3 mobile app, brought to you by Happy State Bank, where you can watch us in the app just like you can watch us on Fox 34 News Now and on YouTube. And if you are on the Facebooks, the Twitters, or the Instagrams, you can follow us. Just look up Double T 97.3, Clint, Gus, Jeff. It is a Friday edition here of Tech Talk, and now a Friday edition of Play of the Day from Jeff McGuire.
Third down goal, handoff Foreman, big hole in the middle, and he's weaving his way inside the 10, and now the pile being pushed forward. He's going to get to the end zone. Are you kidding? No, the ball is out. They've stripped him, and the ball is coming the other direction. It's Coleman. Coleman is in Texas territory at the 30, the 20, 10, 5, dives for the pylon. Are they going to call it a score? Touchdown, Red Raiders!
I put Jeff McGuire on incredibly short notice. Like, oh, by the way, you usually
I like the sound of it.
You're responsible.
I remember it.
And you picked a really good one.
I have a whole folder dedicated to Hall of Fame highlights for Texas Tech athletics. I don't have them all. It's a work in progress. But when you need, you can't go wrong with something out of this folder.
We got this on the H Flowing Center chat line from Robert. Texas Tech, 79. University of Arizona, 77. Where do you think that this game is going to finish score-wise tomorrow, which, again, you can hear starting at 8:30 on Double T 97.3 and 100.7 The Score, a late-night basketball affair?
Yeah, I would be. I'd be surprised if it's not in the 70s, like that score there.
Because the last game was just so odd. That's exactly what I thought was going to happen. And this was before we realized you were going to be on the streak you were on. Obviously, that one was a part of it, but early on the winning streak. And then for Arizona, they were going on, I think it was a 6-game winning streak coming into that game, and now they're back on a 5-game winning streak where you're just kind of that little middle loss right there. And part of it, that was the game of all the stuff we're talking about that you've improved on, that it really hit me like, hey, because it was the perimeter defense, and now all of a sudden you look and you have the second best mark in Big 12 play of holding down three-point shooters on the opposition, where early on it was like wide open looks. In that game, you caused all sorts of fits. You were causing turnovers, and that's an Arizona team that I think when you're talking about good Big 12 guards, they have a handful over there. It starts with Caleb Love, but he's not the only one. Caleb Love's the one that's red hot right now coming into this game. But they've got big, long, athletic guards that can score all over the court, and that was a big worry. And that's how I thought that game was going to play out. But defensively, you really held them down and frustrated them.
Yeah, they didn't shoot the ball well that game, and it felt like as that game unfolded, and certainly the latter stages of that game as it unfolded, they were – the crowd rose up, the road environment rose up, and they were not saying they were content to get beat, but it just sort of settled into, we took that game over down the stretch.
Yeah.
Outscored them. We had outscored them, I guess. I'm looking at it 33-26 at half and felt good about that. Mm-hmm. And then outscored them by 9 in the second half, the 70-54. They shot 36% on the get day, and that was 36 in both halves for them. So, 34 and 27, 31% on the game. So, just not a great shooting night. But I would imagine that we will get a more focused effort from them, just in terms of, their just the fact that we kind of whacked them here and just took them completely out of it, like in a way that's almost outlierish. If we'd have beaten them by 2 or 3 points, but like that thing became so easy at the very end. Like I would imagine we will get a more focused effort. They had 2 guys that we talked about this sort of in the preview to that game leading into it, but they have 2 guys whose names show up on mock drafts. Now, they're not way up there in the Edgecombe lottery pick type stuff, but there's some good players on this team. Don't mistake it. Don't think, we beat them by 16, it'll be easy again. I hope it is easy again.
Mm-hmm. If you want to have a repeat performance where like 3/4 of the game it kind of feels ugly and it's a defensive battle, and all of a sudden you pull away, like, we're going to win by like 15 points.
Beautiful.
Do it.
Yeah.
Go for it. I say let's see what it looks like on the road.
And that was Toppin post-flu. Mm-hmm. He was really good in that game. He was probably the star of that game. 20 points, 16 rebounds. He had us all chattering after that game, and it may take another effort. Not that he'll need to get 16 rebounds, be that kind of superhuman.
Well, and he'll be an interesting watch just because once again dinged up, and I don't know. I mean, he didn't just miss the rest of the Baylor game after that happened, but he was on a pretty good pace, and it feels like if you are kind of going through the ebbs and flows of the season. He's due for a really, really good performance because he's had solid ones at least all year long. But now you're looking at back-to-back games where one, obviously the Houston game happened. He barely got to play in that one, and then was held to about 20 minutes, so about half the game against Baylor, and a lot of it was messing with the ankle issue. And so it'll also be interesting to see Arizona, I would guess, is going to go, well, we're not going to let him be the one who beats us again. So you wonder if they handle him different, if they overdo it. We've seen this a couple of times where opponents will overdo it, and we're going to send an extra guy at Toppin every single time, and he's been so good at passing out of that and setting up open shots. So again, this is where it goes to. It's nice to have as many offensive weapons and as many routes to scoring the basketball that you do have, but I'm very curious, one, just the game of Toppin, but also what Arizona does to see if they do anything different from what they did in the game here in Lubbock.
Yeah, if there's a big tactical change or if it's just a more focused effort.
Sure.
I mean, we out-rebounded on that game 50-34. I mean, there was just so much in that game that we the Red Raiders, commanded so many aspects of that game, and it'll take a good effort. I doubt you can just fluke your way through that operation tomorrow, because it'll probably be a charged up environment. It's sold out. They've already put that on social, and it'll be one of the two most hostile environments. And I think that's probably the safest thing I could say. I mean, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that and Fog Allen. Where else would?
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's anything left on our schedule that'll rival that. I mean, I'm not saying there won't be good environments that we play in.
Yeah, because I bet that TCU one, which hopefully there'll be a bunch of red in there too. But you know what else? It's funny because you go back to that game that you played, and it's not like you had perfect performances from everybody, because Elijah Hawkins, who's been red hot, by the way, the last two games, 7 of 14 from outside. He was 0 of 5 in that game. Williams had 4 3-point attempts and was 0 for on those. So you didn't shoot it exceptionally well. I mean, you're 6 of 23 in that game, and as a team, you have, looked much, much better than that. Of course, that was kind of an outlier for you to have such a bad outside shooting game where it was like everybody. But also what was different, and this has been great to see this. Now, against Baylor, he just had 3 points, but still had a much more involved performance, is the return of Kerwin Walton. That was one of those games where it was, he played 5 minutes in that game. 5 minutes and nothing. And it's huge to get him going again, too. Because I think that's the sort of stuff when you get to those guys, not that he's not equally important as like JT Toppin or Williams or Hawkins to score or lead the charge, but that's the difference. What makes like a good team, great team, when you get to those guys that are also producing and just having an effect on the game. And also Christian Anderson from that time has just grown better and better and better. So it does feel like where they're also improved from that, even though you won that game, you're improving as well. So it's going to be an interesting outcome in Tucson tomorrow night. Maybe around midnight. It is Tech Talk on Double T 97.3.
The podcast put together with Red Raider fans in mind. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Some secrets should stay in the dark, but we share everything.
The first time I met you, your arm was in a sling, and you were filling in. Right? I said, "Hey, hi, Mr. Gusftan," and you were like, "It's Dr. Gusftan. Get out of my face."
Yeah, right. I used to do that to Savannah's friends. They'd come over. Hi, Mr. Gusftan. It's Doctor.
It's Tech Talk on Double T 97.3.
It is a Friday edition of Tech Talk. Clint Scott, Dr. Mike Gustafson, and Jeff McGuire behind the glass taking care of us. If you are looking for basketball, we got it tonight. We got it tomorrow. We got it all over the place. St. John's at UConn tonight, 6:45, 100.7 the score. High school ranks, it is Friendship Boys basketball at Odessa High, 7:30 here on Double T 97.3. Tomorrow you have KU and Kansas State. That game in Manhattan, 12:45 here on Double T 97.3. Texas Tech at Arizona. The rematch there is the Red Raiders are looking for a Big 12 sweep. 8:30 start on Double T 97.3 and 100.7 the score. And we got Lady Raider basketball for you tomorrow as well, as they're at 9th-ranked TCU. 3:30 start on 107.7 the Red Dirt Rebel, and also 100.7 the score. Gentlemen, let's find out what the state where I tell you a story without the state that it comes from. You have to tell me where said story happened. Today we're doing a branch of that one we've played before. This version is guess the European country that this story comes from. So there's
Florida.
Yeah, basically, yeah. All right, there is a report. It's an old report, so if you've seen this story, you'll probably guess what this country is. that is making the rounds once again, and this unnamed country is getting made fun of because. Let me ask you this first, Gus. How many times do you wear a shirt before it gets washed?
I mean, if it's something like in here, a couple times. I mean, if it's yard mowing, once. I mean, that's yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the build to have a shirt worn a second time.
Yeah, if it's an all-day wear,
your typical
then I'm
shirt
washing
wear.
it again, even if I'm not that dirty, sweaty. But if it's come in here and do it radio 3 hours, which I'm very public about changing shirts out in the parking lot.
You are.
Which I know that it's a lot for you, but I do it.
If you drive by the Raymar compound,
absolutely
about
at 255,
you're looking for a picture of Gus Nips. That's the time.
Absolutely. Now Clint, on the other hand, he's very modest. He's wearing one shirt every day.
I killed Jeff a little bit inside when I said that. I saw part of his soul.
About the nips?
Yeah, Gus Nips.
Those are nerps.
Nerps.
Yeah, they're
Pepperonis.
either nips or nerps if they're
salamis. Yeah, I'm pretty much the only thing that gets worn multiple times before it gets washed is usually like the jeans because whatever.
See, I'm the opposite. When the pants start getting kind of like I don't say saggy, but just sort of like when they come out and they're sort of fitting tight. Once I've worn them a couple times and they're kind of bagged out, I'm sort of the opposite. So if I wear a pair of pants all day, that's usually it.
This unnamed country is encouraging its people to wear shirts 5 times before you wash them. They also are encouraging.
Are we conserving water here? Is that what we're doing?
That's the angle. That's the angle. Workout clothes, wear them 3 times before you wash them. Whoa.
Oh,
Pajamas for a week. Jeans
does that include Chuck's drippy guy? I don't think
Jeff doesn't want to do this again.
Chuck's drippy guy doesn't. He needs to wash the. I think
sweaty guy.
Yeah, he needs to do it every day. Sounds like
Mr. Gelatin. He might need to wash it twice a day.
Just based on the description, I don't know the gentleman. Maybe it's all a big exaggeration.
Hey, you have a fan in Tech Talk, Mr.
I trust Chuck.
Sweatman. They also say wear jeans for a month before you wash them, and bras 7 times in between washes.
I usually go 3 on my bras.
You should. Mm-hmm.
My bros. My men's ears. And you're asking me to guess the country?
Yeah, what country is encouraging?
Golly,
European
dude.
country is encouraging their people to do this. This is from their Ecological Transition Agency.
Really?
Which is their version of the EPA.
Ah, man.
Stop doing so much laundry. It's bad for the environment. Ruins your clothes.
So, former Soviet bloc? Is this
I give no hints.
You know hints.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is not a hint game.
He's giving us Europe. That's probably about it.
I could have just said guess the country like we did the first time.
I'll go Italy. I don't know.
Portugal.
Let's go to the chat line, see if we have any guesses there.
Okay.
We have Arkansas. We have two correct. We have 2 correct guesses. Your winners are Tyler and Bobby Hot Dogs. Bobby Hot Dog says France. Very smelly people. Tyler said this has France written all over it. It does. Sacre bleu. They do not want you to wash.
Is that right?
Nasty.
Wow.
I don't. Now, to be fair, in the story, it says the people from France, the French, as you will, are very annoyed that this is being shared because they're getting ridiculed online.
And it's so stereotype. I mean, it just plays into all the stereotypes.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, dude's like, really?
Those poor French. So there you go. Yep, from France. Ugh. 5 times. 5 times. If I did that, there would be a stench. Yeah, almost a prank level stench.
Yeah, that's. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I mean, most of these radio shirts, I'm usually.
You're in it for 3 hours.
Every other wear.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There you go. Hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We got this on the chat line. Bullfighter has said Sauna Guy is now named Soggy Socks. I'm in. Is that accurate, Jeff?
I'm not in charge of naming Chuck's haters. That's not my job description.
Long list of. We decided that's a character. Like he's a character. What'd you say? Naked guy on Seinfeld?
Yeah, it's like naked
wasn't it?
guy
Yeah.
from Friends,
like
right?
sweaty guy in
sweaty guy. Mm-hmm.
in Hinesville. Yeah,
Hinesville.
it's just a character, right?
Hinesville.
Hinesland.
Keep in mind, so is Chuck Hines.
You mean Chuck's a character in
Just
his
a
own
character.
story?
I don't disagree. It's Tech Talk on Double T 97.3.
It's every Red Raiders' favorite podcast. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It is Tech Talk here on Double T 97.3, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, the Double T 97.3 mobile app. Brought to you by Happy State Bank, Clint, Gus, Jeff behind the glass taking care of us. Let's dive into some headlines today. And if you missed it yesterday, Texas Tech softball opened up their season with a 2-0 win over Marshall in their leadoff classic in Clearwater, Florida. And Gus, they're actually in the middle of game number 2 right now as they take on the 25th ranked Mississippi State Bulldogs. They will keep going later tonight as they see Penn State as well. After that, tomorrow is another big one as they take on Nebraska. That's your MLB Network game. They'll also see Iowa in the Classic and end it with Kennesaw State. Outside of the MLB Network game, you can see all of these on Game Changer. And if you have been in depth of watching softball or like high school sports or stuff like that, you're probably already comfortable or aware of Game Changer. But if not, it's very easy to go find. Right now in this top 25 matchup, they are in the bottom of the 5th, and it is 0-0. Goose eggs there. So you have a true heavyweight top 25 low-scoring duel going on right now against the Bulldogs. Tonight you can hear St. John's at UConn on the hardwood, 645, 100.7 the score. You can also find Friendship Boys basketball at Odessa High, 7:30 here on Double T 97.3. Basketball tomorrow in Manhattan, KU at Kansas State, 12:45 here on Double T 97.3. Red Raider basketball just red hot, riding all sorts of momentum into Tucson. They're looking for a Big 12 regular season sweep of Arizona. This is a late one. This is now a 9:30 tip, which means 8:30 coverage for Double T 97.3 and 100.7 the score. Arizona, though, on a little bit of a hot streak of their own. Just the one Big 12 loss, of course, that was to you. They had won 6 games in a row before they came here to Lubbock and now have won their last 5. Caleb Love, over the past 5 games, just over 20 points a game, and he's also hit 19 threes. And what's funny, Gus, this Arizona team is not necessarily just this elite three-point shooting team. They have guys that can do it. They have one guy, Del Orso, who can really shoot it if you let him.
Didn't get going here.
Yes. But for the most part, it's not like it's an elite outside shooting team, although they can certainly do it. But they are athletic everywhere, and they can score in multiple different ways, much like you can. Although as a team, you are a much better outside shooting team in that conversation.
Yeah, I'll be curious to know how much to see how much the environment plays into this. There may be points along the way in which Coach McCaslin has to pop a couple timeouts just to quiet things down a little bit, slow the roll, right? Which is less typically something you deal with less at home.
Yeah. Other games here tomorrow in the Big 12 outside of the 2 matchups we already mentioned. You have TCU at Iowa State, UCF at Baylor, Houston at Colorado, which that one you would think is going to be a bloodbath. We'll see what happens. Maybe Tad Boyle and company will surprise us there in Boulder. Utah at West Virginia, and BYU at Cincinnati. If you missed the news, James Blanchard has signed a new 3-year contract with Texas Tech to remain their general manager. And that's extra big news because the Notre Dame Fighting Irish were after him. And There were several reports they were interested in him and in talks with him. Instead, he's going to stay here at Texas Tech. Just over $1.5 million over those 3 years, so a nice little pay raise for James Blanchard as he remains the Red Raiders GM.
Yeah, and there's probably some relief there for Coach McGuire, who wants to keep this good thing going, just in terms of the personnel side. A couple of top 30 recruiting classes in the previous 2 years, and then this really good portal class, and you can see why they want continuity.
Sure. Of course, it is Super Bowl weekend, and you can hear coverage starting at 1 o'clock. That is all afternoon. Chiefs and Eagles. It is a very, very promising, exciting matchup there, unless you have exhaustion of the Chiefs or don't like the Eagles and you have that combo, then you probably don't know who to root for here. Let's go to that. Hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Thoughts, comments, questions, all of that. Welcome there. You and I love stats, Gus. I got some.
Yes, sir.
I got some stats here. This is from YouGov, one of your favorite sites, I know. America has spoken of who they are polling for, Gus. According to a new poll, we'll start here. 48% of Americans say they'll definitely or probably watch the Super Bowl. 29% of that will be polling for Philadelphia. 22% will be rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs. And 49% say they don't care. It's one of those types of years.
Yeah, and the don't care thing, can mean a couple things. Doesn't mean you're not watching.
Right, no, this is of the ones who are watching.
Oh, okay, got it. In other words, they don't have a dog in the hunt. They're just wanting a good game.
It also doesn't say they're rooting against both, but I also kind of take it that way.
Yeah. So you're a run-of-the-mill Cowboy fan. That's For example,
when those two teams played 2 years ago in the same matchup, Cowboys fan Jeff back there, I get it. The Chiefs were favored 30%. To the Eagles, 27%. What's that, Gus? You want some more Super Bowl stats? I would love to give you some of that.
I would just like a s'more, actually. If we're offering things.
A s'more or a s'more?
S'more. We're going to say it correctly because I've seen the greatest baseball movie of all time.
Here's a poll of the most drunk fans on Super Bowl Sunday, or who will be. The Ravens fans are expected to have 3.8 drinks during the game. Raiders fans come at number 2, 3.7. Giants and Bills are tied for 3.6.
So is this all real?
Wait a minute. Wait.
I don't know how we're arriving at
You're going to tell me somebody's out drinking Bills Mafia.
This is just the average. Yeah.
Someone's going to outdrink Bills Mafia.
Apparently Baltimore.
I'm not buying into that. I'll take the over on Bills Mafia number.
I also want to know how that number was arrived at. That's my...
It's just through a random poll.
Okay.
So, take it as the grain of salt. A six-way tie for 5th between the Vikings, Jets, Cowboys, Packers, Bears, and the Eagles, who will be in the Super Bowl. Chiefs fans are tied at 11th for 3.4. So there you go. If you need those stats for any reason, now you got them.
What was the Cowboy number? 2.5?
3.5 drinks
3.5
average for fans.
I will probably. Do we count a cocktail as 2 because it's 2 shots?
They don't. Yeah, I was gonna say they didn't say the strength of these drinks,
or if we're just talking numbers of beverages.
Yeah, I just have drinks. So sorry I can't get more specific for you. But there you go. This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Mike said, Tech by 50.
Oh, I love it.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
This on the chat line. I saw a tweet 2 years ago on the Chiefs-Eagle game, people talking about halftime length as if both quarterbacks weren't from Texas and had to deal with 30-minute halftimes every week growing up.
In high school, every Friday night when you got homecoming festivities, you got the 2-band playing scenario,
One band doesn't know how to keep time, so their 15-minute show is 30 minutes, and everyone's like, get off the field.
Yeah. Stop dropping the baton and get off the field.
This has been the Tech Talk Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.